In football, there are players who impress, players who dominate, and then there are players who electrify. Lamine Yamal, at just 17 years old, has already done all three. Not with sheer numbers or with only silverware, but with moments, fragments of brilliance that stick in the memory that make crowds rise to their feet. He's not just a player for the future, he's the youngest ever La Liga starter for Barcelona, the youngest goalscorer in Spanish national team history, and perhaps the youngest player ever to carry the hopes of Barcelona fans in bringing the club back to its former glory. And now some believe he deserves football's ultimate individual honour, the Ballon d'Or. But does he truly deserve it now, or is it just the euphoria of a new football icon? Lamine Yamal's season has been nothing short of extraordinary, not merely because of his age, but because of the sheer scope of his achievements. Over 4,000 minutes played in competitive football, key contributions across La Liga, domestic cups, and the Champions League. He has delivered not just moments of quality, but sustained excellence over a season most players only dream of. His performance across the two legs of the Champions League semi-final against Inter Milan was a defining moment. Against one of Europe's most tactically disciplined sides, Yamal was unstoppable, weaving through defenses, creating chances, and showcasing maturity far beyond his age. He was the standout player on the pitch, a teenager playing as though he had been there for years. Yet, it ended in heartbreak as Barcelona failed to advance to the final, denying him a chance to cap his season with Europe's ultimate prize. It is these late-season stages where legends are often made. The Ballon d'Or has a habit of rewarding not just brilliance, but brilliance at the right time. In the footballing world, people are taken by the moment. They remember not only what was done, but also when it was done. We've already seen this cycle repeat. Earlier in the season, it was Mohamed Salah who seemed destined for the prize, delivering week after week for Liverpool. Then, for a brief stretch, it was Rafinha who caught fire for Barcelona, his statistical explosion matched by an outpouring of fan enthusiasm. Pedri too drew Ballon d'Or buzz for the elegance and control he brought to midfield. And in the closing chapter of the season, it is Ousmane Dembélé who has become the name on everyone's lips, delivering decisive performances for PSG, most notably in the knockout stages of the Champions League. With Paris Saint-Germain crowned champions of Europe, the spotlight now turns to him. This is the challenge Yamal faces, as we've seen last season with Vinicius. After an incredible campaign crowned by a Champions League final trophy, he was the obvious choice. His goal against Dortmund felt decisive, symbolic, and impossible to ignore. The narrative seemed set in stone, but it wasn't. Spain would go on to lift the Euros, and Rodri, steady, exceptional, unglamorous, emerged from the shadows of June to claim the Golden Prize in October, not because he had dazzled more often, but because he had done so more recently, and because his understated brilliance had underpinned Manchester City's success in the Premier League. His consistency, control, and quiet authority served as the structural backbone of a title-winning team. There's also another element worth considering. Barcelona's success this season has produced not just one Ballon d'Or-worthy figure, but several. As mentioned earlier in the video, players like Rafinha and Pedri have each had moments this season where they appeared to be Barcelona's most essential player. Lamine Yamal may be the brightest star, yet Rafinha delivered a flurry of decisive goals and match-winning performances at crucial points of the season. Alongside him, Pedri's midfield control and intelligent orchestration often tilted games in Barcelona's favour. This could lead to a split in the votes, making it difficult for any one of them to stand out as the definitive choice. When greatness is distributed across a collective, public perception and media narratives often struggle to pick a singular figurehead, just as it happened at Real Madrid last season, where the attention was divided between Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, and even Dani Carvajal, resulting in the Ballon d'Or vote being split among them. Unlike the Messi and Ronaldo era, where each was the undisputed centerpiece of their team, and deservedly so given their GOAT-level performances, the modern game presents a more nuanced landscape. In Barcelona's case, Yamal may shine brighter than most, but the lights around him, Rafinha and Pedri, have shone brightly too. Despite everything we've discussed, the momentum of late-season triumphs, recency bias, and the undeniable quality of rival contenders, Lamine Yamal can genuinely win the Ballon d'Or, not as a reward for future potential, but as a recognition of current excellence. Whether this is the right moment may still be a question for some, but what he has done this season leaves little room for doubt. He has carried a team in flux, lit up the Champions League with a performance of rare maturity, and helped deliver a domestic treble. And when his national team needed him, He stepped up, not as a prodigy, but as a protagonist. Yes, some might argue about stats, about goals and assists, but football doesn't always reward just numbers. Many have won the Ballon d'Or not for volume, but for value, for their implication, their elegance, the intangible things they bring to the game: joy, wonder, and entertainment. Lamine Yamal brings all of that, often in a single touch. Of course, the other contenders we've mentioned deserve recognition too. Each has built a compelling narrative. But if the Ballon d'Or truly recognizes the very best of the season, not simply the player who finished strongest, but the one whose brilliance endured longest, then Lamine Yamal is the worthy winner. Because what he has achieved, consistently, at just 17, is beyond remarkable. It is historic. But that's our opinion. What about yours? Do you think Lamine Yamal deserves to win the Ballon d'Or this season? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.